And now let's welcome our very own Rotary International Director for Zones 33 and 34, coming to us live from Jacksonville, Florida, where he's been packing pineapple cakes all day. Director Patrick Eakes.
Well, that is true. Thank you, Chris. I have been packing pineapple cakes all day. You'll have to come to Jacksonville to find out what that's all about. But thanks, Chris. It's my pleasure to be with all of you tonight. And thank you all for your continuing support of Zone 33 and Zone 34's innovative MAP programs and these webinars. Based upon a recent Rotary survey, the club experience is the number one reason that people join Rotary. Based upon the same Rotary survey, a poor club experience is the number one reason that people leave Rotary. Creating a club culture that encompasses these 5 elements is key to club and membership success. Does your club radiate positive energy? Do your members have fun, feel welcomed, and know they truly belong? Do they have confidence in your club's leadership? Do they see opportunities for both personal and professional growth? Are they making meaningful connections? And are they engaging in service that makes a real difference, both in their community, your community, and the world? When the answer is yes, you can feel it. Engagement is the heartbeat of a healthy Rotary Club. Engaged members show up, step up, and lift the entire organization. They drive growth, participation, and impact. But here's the challenge. When engagement is missing, the opposite is also true. Members drift away, clubs lose energy, and momentum fades. The truth is simple. Healthy, vibrant clubs are built on engaged members. And clubs like that don't just happen by accident. They're built by leaders and by members who are intentional about creating an experience where everyone feels valued. And let's not forget the secret sauce. Fun. When people are laughing, connecting, and enjoying themselves, the energy multiplies. That energy is contagious, and it fuels everything else we do in Rotary. Tonight, we'll hear from 2 outstanding Rotary leaders who have mastered this. They've found ways to energize the membership experience, inspire deeper engagement, and in the process, grow their clubs, both in membership and in participation. Their stories and strategies will give you fresh ideas, practical tools, and encouragement to bring back to your own clubs. So let's dive in together, because when our members are engaged and energized, our clubs thrive and Rotary's impact grows. Tonight's format is a panel interview hosted by past District Governor Don Harris from Orlando, Florida, USA, and District 6980. Don now serves Zone 34 as an Assistant Rotary Membership Coordinator. Please remember to submit your questions using the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen. We will incorporate those questions toward the end of this webinar. Don, the stage is yours. Please introduce our guest panelists so they can share their success stories.
Thank you, Patrick. It'd be my pleasure to make the introduction, and thank you for that very insightful introduction. As you so eloquently shared, the most significant impact a club offers their members is a meaningful club experience. So this evening, we're going to share with you success stories from 2 clubs in our zones. One is a relatively smaller club that has almost doubled in membership growth the past couple of years, and the other a much larger club that has had to reinvent their club experience culture. Our panel tonight includes Nancy Alterman, the immediate past president of the Rotary Club of Roswell in Georgia, and Sheila Crockleton, co-president of the Rotary Club of Monroe, North Carolina. Nancy and Sheila both have employed some innovative tactics along with some proven best practices to reinvent their club cultures and re-energize their club members and club experience. Nancy and Sheila, welcome. Let's start with Nancy. When you were a year and a half ago as incoming president, please tell us a little bit about the Rotary Club of Roswell and set the stage for us as to the challenges that you were facing as a president a little over a year ago.
Hey, good evening, everyone. Yes, the Roswell Rotary Club has about 230 members in our club, and we are a very active and engaged club in our district, District 6900. Because of dissatisfaction in leadership and the club meeting experience and people feeling like they didn't have service projects to participate in or they weren't listened to, we lost approximately 50 members that year. And our engagement at meetings usually was about 110 people at a meeting. It went down to about 60 people at a meeting. So we had the challenges of unhappy membership. We have declining membership, and we had a hard time getting our members engaged. So that was my challenge for my incoming year.
Well, thank you, Nancy, for sharing the environment you're moving into as incoming president. Now let's move to Sheila. Sheila, tell us about the Rotary Club of Monroe.
Yes, well, we ran into a similar situation. We had leadership where the club was not happy with the current leadership. That leadership had to step away for a job. We had to go out and recruit someone to be our president that year. We ended up starting co-presidents that year because that's what worked for them. And we purposely went after people with high energy to bring them back. But the first thing we did was surveyed our members. What is it you want? What do you want to see? We had dropped substantially in memberships at that point in time. And honestly, had we not made the change in leadership at mid-year, I think it would have dropped even more.
Well, so you were in a similar situation to kind of reinvent your club experience.
Yes.
I'm anxious to hear more, but before we dig into your accomplishments and how you handled that, let's go back with Nancy on her club's re-engagement journey. Nancy, can you tell us more?
Yes, so in our club, people tell me I have lots of energy. So my whole focus last year was to re-energize our club using different methods. And one of the ways that I found is that if you ask people to specifically head up a project, they'll always say yes because they want to be asked. They want a specific goal that they have to maintain. The other thing is we did a lot of service projects that were during the meeting, before the meeting, after the meeting, on the weekdays and the weekends, during, times where people could come, they could bring their children. So we got more service projects. We not only did our regular service projects, but we put in 15 new service projects so people could get engaged. And the third thing we did was recognizing everybody who did a service project. So I love bunnies. So we made a bunny shirt. And when somebody would do a service project, they would get the bunny shirt. So that was our Energize Roswell. And people were so excited about the bunny shirt that they came to service projects. And we were able to flip the 80-20 rule, where 20% of your people do 80% of the work, to over 80% of our club members doing the work. And the bunny shirt and the bunny award, if you went above and beyond, was something that people really bought into and they wanted to do. The other thing we did was fun meetings and fun speakers. And you can see that we use the therapy llama pie, and we also use therapy dogs. And we would bring in different things at the meeting so people never knew what was going to happen. So they always wanted to be at a meeting. So we started to bring our membership back. And by the end of last year, we were up to about 120 members back at the meetings from 50 the prior year.
Wow, that is a tremendous turnaround in engagement. Doubling membership attendance and getting 80% to participate. I love hearing that. Wow. Well. And the therapy llama. Sheila, let's go back.
I'm done. I need a therapy llama. That is the one thing I'm missing.
Everybody needs a therapy llama.
But Sheila, you had some major accomplishments too. Tell us how you reinvigorated your club.
It's all about energy and service. When we asked our club members, what is it you want to see with this club? they said overwhelmingly service projects. So we started looking for something every single month that we could have a project that we could do, a micro project that we could do while the club meeting was going on. And we really focused on that. It could be stuffing backpacks, it could be writing notes to teachers, to police officers. It did not matter. It could be just looking at anything to make a difference. The club loved it. One thing that we really did that I think made a difference was the Discover Rotary Days, where you would bring a guest with you and talk about Rotary, talk about the things we do. And honestly, when you had that micro project, you're not only telling them what you do, but you're showing them what you do. So that made a huge impact almost immediately.
And Sheila, I understand that you're doing all these at regular club meeting times, even though it might
Yes.
be a club assembly. Is that correct?
Yes, we're usually trying to, we have had speakers and then we would use the last 15 or 20 minutes, or this may be our entire meeting if it's a bigger project. But we love just getting in there and, and we've talked about it. You've got to feel welcome walking into a club meeting. And that's the thing. When you see the project happening, you see the service happening, but you've got somebody standing there saying, hey, come over and sit with me. Let me tell you about a little bit about what we're doing. I think that truly makes a difference.
Absolutely. And the Rotary Day is the same way. That was like a membership day during a
Yes,
club
yes.
meeting?
We would have speakers up there to talk specifically about Rotary, whether it's the foundation, what Rotary does, what Rotary stands for. And then we would ask them to bring a guest with them. Almost overwhelmingly, our new members came from that, from people being invited to a meeting and getting to see what we are doing and what we have done. So now our biggest challenge is let's keep those people energized and engaged and making sure that they have their Rotary job so that they can see what Rotary really is about.
I love it. I love it. What is your what has the results been in membership in the last couple of years?
We've had a steady 2-year increase. This year we're already increased. This year we just installed 3 more members, and we've got 2 to come next week when our district governor is here. So we're constantly working at it. It is a work in progress. But with coming a lot of new members, when you now have more new members or members that have been there less than 2 years than you have people that have been there longer than 2 years, you really have to, you cannot assume anybody knows anything. You've got to take the time to make sure and explain why you do. Why do we tell the 4-way test? Why do we talk about this? What is it about our foundation that makes it special? Take the time so that people really know and understand who you are and what you do.
Outstanding. And Nancy, I think, Sheila mentioned about doing the surveys and speaking to their members. Didn't you have initiative along that lines as well, engaging your members?
Well, we didn't use a survey. We would just tell people to come and talk to us about things that they wanted to do. And we were very open. We had a lot of people suggest new activities. And if we found them feasible, we would do them. And that's how we did 15 service projects. Also, we had 28 new members that were installed last year. And of those new members, 15 of them started a service project or worked on a service project or improved a service project. And we tried very hard in a big club. If you don't know people, you want to make them feel welcome and you want them to get involved right away. So we have ambassadors, and our ambassadors are older members of the club, newer members of the club, older people, younger members, women, men, whatever it is. And we will match up those new members with somebody so that they feel comfortable. They'll take them around, take them under their wing, get them involved in a service project. And that way they feel like they're part of our club right away. So that really works for us. And already this year, we've inducted 10 new members since July, which is incredible. And those people are already, we have 2 members that we're going to be inducting in 2 weeks. They're already at our golf tournament fundraiser today working, and they're not even members yet. So people are really becoming active and engaged. So we have that energy going, and it's fun.
I love it. You found their passion. You're open to new ideas. and then you got them engaged in service project. And oh, by the way, you rewarded them with
Mhm.
public recognition. So outstanding.
And they
That's-
love their bunny shirts. They're still wearing it, even though we have our new president.
we're not having fun, are we?
Oh, we're having lots of fun.
Sheila, you talked to me about Rotary Jeopardy. What was that about?
Oh my goodness. So we have someone who leads Rotary Jeopardy 2 times a month. The questions all come from the previous month's Rotary magazine. So the idea is to get more people reading it. If you read the magazine, you're going to learn more about Rotary. Our local Chick-fil-A has donated cards. So if you answer their question correctly, you get a free sandwich meal at the Chick-fil-A. So who doesn't love Chick-fil-A and who doesn't want to answer something correctly? So it is a twofold thing. It's made people know a little bit more about Rotary, reading their magazine, but also it's fun. It's fun. You do have to answer in form of a question. So
Oh, yeah. I love Rotary Jeopardy. I've done that myself, my club. That's outstanding. Sheila, you had also mentioned, and I lost my train of thought here. You may have to help me.
was it about how we induct members quicker now?
Yes, new member induction.
Yes.
You
We
both do
changed
it.
our
Yes.
policy on that, changed our bylaws on that actually, to where we bring, when we receive that application, we bring them, within a week, we have voted on that new member, and then we're trying to get them inducted. We want to make it a faster process so that they're not waiting. Who wants to wait knowing full well that somebody's going to have to vote on you? Who wants to do that? So, we can, we make that process a little bit faster, trying to get them in the door. And then almost immediately you want to engage them in something. And service projects are ideal. Let them lead the service project. It's a lot of fun. Set them up for success so that they can be a part of something, and, and just having fun in the process.
I think, Nancy, you made a little faster induction process too in your club. Is that true?
We do, but they have to come to at least 3 of our meetings before they can apply. But one of the things that we did find is, because we're out in the community and we have a lot of signage, whenever we're doing a service project, we have signs that say Roswell Rotarians at work. We always have our shirts on. Last year, everything had the bunny. So people recognized us, and we actually had people that saw us at a project walk in off the street to our club, and we inducted 3 members that didn't know anybody but just saw what we were doing in the community and came in. So it's working when you're in the public eye and you're trademarked the right way. People see what you're doing and they come.
So in addition to getting better participation, more members attending, you had a more significant presence in the community. So the community knows what Rotary is about. I love it. Were there other benefits of getting the club more engaged?
It was. We had, because we had so many service projects and we did such a wide variety of service projects covering every single topic, education, ADA, veterans, seniors, people saw what we were doing, and our club members gave more too. We had a record year for foundation giving. We had
Wow.
3 major donors from our club. So we were seeing in polio, everything went up, and they felt happy because their dollars were being used and they could see where they were going, and they felt that they were participating, so they were more likely to give.
Oh, that's a wonderful byproduct of an engaged, energized membership. I love it. Sheila, you mentioned your club implemented co-presidents. Can you just share
Yes.
what that's done for your club?
We are actually on our 3rd year of co-presidents. When we did that 3 years ago, we did it out of necessity. We needed the energy. We needed the people in the community, and the person that agreed to take it over said, "I will do it as long as you will let me bring a co-president in." Then we did that the next year. And then this year, it was going to be my goal to get us back to 1 president. Well, we all know life is difficult sometimes. So having that co-president, we brought in somebody that has been with the club less than 2 years to be my co-president, and he brings just a total different level of energy. So we have really enjoyed that, and it works well. I think we feed off of each other a little bit, so it has worked really well.
That is outstanding. Well, I did want to mention that. I know we're just touching the surface of what you two have been doing, but hopefully you'll stick around for some Q&A here in a little bit.
Absolutely.
What I'd like to do, though, is just kind of review some key takeaways. Think about what we've heard. Engage our members. Have those personal conversations. Do the surveys. Help find their passion and address their needs. Make your members feel valued. Is it a meaningful experience for them? And of course, once you create an engaging, enthusiastic culture, have fun. That's repeated twice on here. Listen to your members' ideas, be receptive to new ideas, and have fun with it. Because as Patrick said in the opening, engaged members create and maintain healthy, vibrant clubs, and they'll continue to help you elevate the member experience. So thank you both very much. I know I speak to everyone that I want to hear more in the Q&A in just a minute. If you'll stick with us, we're going to, and I'll be bowing out. Q&A will be facilitated by Rotary International Regional Membership Officer Jose Gonzalez. But before that, our immediate past Zone 33 Membership Coordinator, Terry Weaver, is going to share with us how easy it is to use surveys in the Member Success Center. Terry, would you take it away, please?
Thanks, Don. Your MSC tidbit of the month is about member satisfaction surveys in the Membership Success Center. Your first question might be, why do I want to do this? Well, we've been talking about membership engagement and the club experience, and what better way to find out what members want than to just ask them. And like most things, there are some key success factors, the key ingredients in a recipe for a successful member satisfaction survey. And those are all covered in the recipe that's available within the survey tool. Now, the survey tool is in the Membership Success Center, and you find the surveys link right over here on the left-hand side. So on the surveys page, I'll just mention the high points. At first, despite the fact I know there are a lot of men in the audience, but it might not be a bad idea to start by reading the directions. And that's right under the How Do Surveys Work button. From there, proceed on to the Create a Survey button, which will create a URL, a web address that you can distribute to your members that will link them directly to the survey. Just send it out in an email, a text, or even you could put it in a QR code on a flyer at a meeting. Once your survey is complete, then there's a button where you can find all the results. And yes, there is a method of creating a customizable survey. If you have the skills to manage something like that, this might be a choice for you. So here's a link to a step-by-step how-to video that covers everything you want to know and everything it would take to create and deliver a successful survey. That link is rotaryzones3334.org/surveys. And now it's time for Q&A. And that's Q&A with Nancy and Sheila, which is being facilitated by our own Zones 33 and 34 Regional Membership Officer, Jose Gonzalez. Take it away, Jose.
Thank you, Terry, for the introduction and the overview of the surveys available in the Membership Success Center. I can share from personal experience, my club has used the MSC to conduct our annual club survey 2 years in a row, and we plan to do so again early next year. I'll also share that the added benefit of using the MSC to conduct the survey has been that it houses the survey data in the tool for us. So club leaders for years to come can review and reflect on where we are and where we want to go. With that, let's jump into our normally scheduled Q&A segment and ask all the questions that you have for our panelists. And as a reminder, we will be using the Q&A function in Zoom, so questions posted in the chat may be missed and not asked. And now it's time for our first question. And Miss Nancy, the first question is for you. Thank you both, Sheila and Nancy, for being here today. But Nancy, you talked about changing the 80-20 rule. Mentioned that these t-shirts were very exciting for people. And I'm wondering if you could tell us a little bit more on how exactly, through service projects, you were able to get more people involved to participate.
Mhm. So what we try to do is make it more accessible for people to do service projects and also a variety of service projects. So we would do service projects before a meeting, during a meeting, after a meeting, during the weekdays, and even on weekends. So some of the service projects, people brought their children too, because they really needed, to have their kids with them, and it was a fun project. It might have been picking up trash on the side of the road or whatever. So we tried to do a variety of service projects to meet everybody's needs and do it at all different times. So people couldn't say, I can't do it because it's on a Friday. They always had an opportunity, even at a meeting.
So it's almost as if you made the service projects themselves inclusive and available at the times that make sense for your members.
Yes. Mhm.
Great. And Nancy, how did you determine which service projects those would be? Do members nominate the service projects or champion them? Is there a process for that?
There were certain projects that we always tend to do every year, so we kept those on. And then we evaluated some of the other service projects. Could we be more innovative with them to make them more exciting, because some of them became stale. And then we also had members suggest new service projects, and we said, oh, that sounds cool, let's try it. And some of them worked really well, and we're keeping them this year. Some of them were just a one-year thing, like building a
Mhm.
playhouse for one of our battered women's shelters. And that was focusing on vocational education. And all of our construction people loved working with the kids,
Mhm.
building a playhouse.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for sharing, Miss Nancy. Miss Sheila, you're up next. People are interested to hear more about these micro projects. Can you share how you got started with them and which ones you found to be the most value add for your members?
Yeah, so we have a lot of nonprofit members in our club. So we asked each one of them to submit a project if they had something that we could possibly help with. We did go that historical knowledge way. There were some service projects that were historical, but we looked at a lot of new things. Basically, anything that could really make a difference. If somebody came in, we had a nothing but cakes that wanted to write notes with the little cakes that they were giving for law enforcement week. We wrote the notes with them to make sure they had something with them. But then we were putting together shower chairs. We were stuffing backpacks. We had food kits for children. Anything that we could do basically within that time frame, we were looking for ideas. And it is, think outside the box. I mean, it literally can just be anything, that writing notes to kids when they're having their end of grade test. That is something they're going to love it. And and then you're making a difference in their lives.
Yes, it sounds to me, Miss Sheila, you're using the resources of the people in your club. They're the ones that are helping determine.
Absolutely. We have great leaders in our club, great nonprofit leaders. Let's utilize them first. And of course, we did look at some projects outside of that, but let's work within our own club members. We want to keep them engaged too. So let's look at some different ways to re-energize them as well.
Re-energize, making it fun. I'm hearing all the right words. Thank you very much, Miss Sheila. Nancy, the next one is in reference to the ambassadors program you talked about. Can you expand a little further for us on how you manage the ambassadors program and how did you decide who was selected to be an ambassador for the club?
So we choose people that are very friendly, that know people in the club, and feel comfortable being with somebody that they totally don't know, and taking them around, making them feel welcome. So we have about 20 people, and we try to be very diverse. So if we have somebody that comes in, we had somebody that came in, just walked in, and they had a law background. So we have an ambassador who is a lawyer. So I was able to take them over and say, oh, Jane Doe here is a lawyer. She's looking at joining our club. John Doe, you're a lawyer too. There's a connection there, and they can feel more comfortable when they don't know anybody. So that's how we use the ambassadors. And we also have those ambassadors to help them when they become members so that they can kind of guide them to what service projects they may enjoy and to meet the people in that service project so they don't feel like they're just there and not helping.
Fantastic. And Nancy, I'm glad you brought up the new members because an additional question that was asked in reference to the ambassadors program was, how do you keep them motivated so they look out for those newer members?
Oh, in our club, they love it, especially the past presidents. The past presidents love to share all of their knowledge. So we have a lot of past presidents that are ambassadors. And also our new members love it because they can tell them what were the problems that they experienced when they were a new member and how they overcame those experiences. So we have a lot of older past
Yes.
presidents and we have a lot of newer members that are ambassadors.
Those lived experiences, right? It really
Mhm.
helps them understand what they went through and how to best overcome said challenges. Great. Thank you,
Mhm.
Nancy. Ms. Sheila, you mentioned earlier and during your presentation that everyone gets a job. Everyone gets a Rotary job. How do you determine what job fits for what person to ensure that a new member doesn't get put into something they don't like? What's that strategy?
Well, and I think the secret there is to always let people know, we have a lot of options. If this
Mm,
is not something you love, let us know because we'll relook at that. But a lot of times it's trying to find what their passion is. Why is it that you're here? What is it you love best? Do you love service? Do you love talking to new members? Let's get them in on a committee as soon as possible so that they can really feel engaged. They're also going to meet other club members when they do
hmm
that. So that makes a huge difference right there.
Fantastic. Yes, I would say so. As they engage with the newer members, they start fostering relationships and really connecting to the club itself.
Yes.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Sheila. Um, Sheila, earlier you talked about the club president model and it being a co-president leadership
Yes.
style structure. Questions are coming in, actually multiple questions. So I'm wondering if you can add a few more tidbits or what the benefits have been of having co-presidents. Possibly others might want to try it out.
Yeah, so benefits are, it's hard to be somewhere every single week. In my case, my work may take me out for a week. To
Hmm.
have that co-president there, right now what we're doing is alternating months. With the idea that if something happens, but we have a schedule. It's the same schedule where we have our speakers on, and we'll list which president is going to have that meeting. But it is all about communication. It's all about having a conversation. If it's not every week, it's the next week we talk about things. If you were asked Dylan says, the history of Rotary, more about Rotary. Let me handle some of the tougher things. So he's handled a lot of that, but it's about communicating, making sure that it works well. Find two people that can work off of each other's energies, not that they're going to combat each other. And honestly, we have a distinct difference in age. So it's kind of nice to have somebody that is younger up there. I always find that energizing when you can have different ages and different backgrounds, different groups, but you put those people together that are going to work off of each other, but most of all, that the club's going to appreciate them being up there at that mic.
And when you determine that it's going to be a co-president year again, is there some sort of form that it gives people an opportunity to nominate themselves, or is it selected by your board of directors?
Well, we have been most of the time we bring our past presidents together and
Hmm.
our board so that we talk about that. Who are the people that maybe would work well off of each other and
Yes.
bring them together? I hope we will get to the point that they want to nominate themselves. Again,
Hmm.
with so many members being there less than 2 years, you're sometimes identifying. They may have a concern. They may say, I don't know that I know enough yet. Well, let's pair you with somebody that does have that historical knowledge, and let's work together. But what you've got though is you've got this background of these past presidents who are here to make sure you're successful. We've all worked
Hmm.
incredibly hard. We want nothing more than our club to continue to have the success that it's had.
Miss Sheila, I've actually heard many successful clubs have something similar to what you're talking about, almost like a past president council, right? And they help facilitate a lot of the upcoming engagements so you stay aligned with what the mission and goals are of the club. That sounds a lot
Yes.
like this, right?
And I think you have to keep those past presidents involved and engaged because we all know, having been past presidents, you end the year pretty tired. So you want to keep them engaged and let people know how important that they are.
Great. Thank you very much, Miss Sheila. Now, Miss Nancy, earlier I heard you mention towards the end of your presentation aside from growing the club in terms of membership and more engagement and service projects, there were other benefits that came from the re-energizing, re-engaging the club. I think you mentioned the Rotary Foundation contributions change. Can you just go a little further in depth with us? How much benefit was there?
Well, we found that our giving went up last year. It was one of our better years over the last 10 years. And people were more apt to give because they saw their money working. That's how they felt. And we had a lot of people. We also asked our club members to step up to the next level for Paul Harris. And
Yes.
we called everybody. And we also gave an incentive, since we are a large club and we do have some extra money. We said, we as a club will give you an extra $300 so you can get to
Oh.
$1,000 with 700 of your money and 300 for ours. And we had, I think, 46 or 47 Paul Harris Fellows
Wow.
that either, were new or stepped up. And again, like 3 major donors, which was really great. We also had people that did bequest. We had 2 $25,000 bequest society members. So they were seeing the energy in the club. They were seeing the camaraderie. They feel like family and they wanted to give back. And they did through their foundation and Paul Harris and polio.
I have to say, Nancy, that is phenomenal to hear because I'm pretty sure with all the emotions we're seeing right now, the thumbs up, the hearts, people are going to rip off and duplicate and test this out. If your club has the bandwidth and the resources, a matching challenge of some sort could benefit you. Great. Now, there's been multiple questions in here for the both of you in reference to when your club actually meets, because people are interested to learn what timing are your clubs getting together to understand those micro projects and how they work. Miss Nancy, we'll start with you. What day and time does your club meet?
We meet every Thursday at noon for lunch, so it goes from noon to 1:15. And the only time we don't meet on Thursdays is during Christmas and Thanksgiving.
Okay, perfect. Now, Miss Sheila, same for you. What day and time does your club meet?
We are Tuesdays at lunch, and typically we try to start the projects either at 12:30 or 12:45 to make sure that we get those taken care of in a reasonable amount of time. Most people have to get back to work, so.
Yes, understandable. Now, there have been also many questions about a list of all the service projects you're conducting. People seem to be very excited, and I can tell you I am as well. We'd be more than happy for the entire group to learn about what those service projects are. And yes, we will share a contact email address for Miss Nancy and Miss Sheila. So if anyone has any additional questions, you're more than welcome to reach out. But I did want to share that there is what is referred to as Service Project Center. And many clubs actually list all of their service projects that they conduct and complete on Service Project Center within My Rotary. So for all of our webinar attendees today, I strongly recommend check out Service Project Center. See if you can find some service projects there that you can R&D in your own club. Now, final question before we go. And we're going to go with Miss Nancy. Miss Nancy, people are wondering, what's the secret sauce that you would give as the number one recommendation to make a meeting fun? Is there one thing that you would say, this is how you make it fun?
I think that you have to be genuine. You have to be showing that you're having fun and that energy will go and pass through everybody. They want to be part of that energy. They want to be part of being fun. You can't fake it. It has to be there. And you have to be a little crazy. I think outside the box a lot. And people never knew what they were going to get. And they were excited about that and they wanted to be part of it. From the stunt woman we had to the llama to whatever other crazy things we did, they wanted to be part of it.
Great. And Miss Sheila, you want to add to it? Is there anything you would say, number one thing to make meetings fun?
Walk table to table, greet people, say hi, ask them how their week has been, what's going on, know their favorite sports teams, know what they love, the kids, the grandkids, the dogs, everything else. Connect with them, make that connection, and just smile a lot and just have a good time. The energy is so important. And I'm telling you, I'm going to go visit Nancy at her club meeting at some point in time. So.
Hopefully, Nancy, you'll let us all come visit. Same with you, Miss Sheila. We want to visit all your clubs. See it in action. Now, one quick thing before we go, because I mentioned that I realized I mentioned Service Project Center. Now, the best way to get there, log into your My Rotary account, everyone. Go to my.rotary.org. You'll see one of the hot links there when you log into your account, Service Project Center. But with that, that wraps up our Q&A segment. Miss Nancy, Miss Sheila, thank you so much for your time and sharing your experience with us. It's been a true pleasure to learn more about how successful your clubs have been. As always, thank you to all of you, our viewers, for attending and engaging with us tonight. But hold tight. There is a wrap-up from our good friend, Chris Jones. Chris, the floor is yours, sir.
Jose, thank you so much for your Q&A session this evening. And Sheila and Nancy, what great information you shared with us. It was incredible. Thank you so much for doing that. And Don, thank you for leading the first part of our session this evening. So we have a little bit of additional information to cover with you very quickly. You see the slide on the screen right now that talks about how 621 clubs grew last year, and we offer our MAP congratulations to all of you. 350 clubs grew only in 2024 and 25, and they've already or will very soon receive the milestone award coming from their district governor. Over 150 other clubs have been growing for consecutive years. These folks will receive the Momentum Award in the next few weeks. Now, here are the clubs with 5 or more years of consecutive growth. Please glance here now to see if your club is listed. These clubs are great examples of how to grow your club's impact. Well done to all the clubs listed here, and thank you for your great work in growing Rotary. We know our webinars are packed with great insights, but we also recognize that sometimes the best ideas come from open dialogue. That's why we're launching again the MAP Lounge, a casual, come-as-you-are Zoom space to further the conversation. The MAP Lounge isn't another presentation, but however, it is your opportunity to talk, share, and connect. Whether you have a question, a challenge, or an idea sparked by today's webinar, this is your place to bring it. Think of it like Rotary Fellowship meets strategy session. Grab a cup of coffee and join us in the MAP Lounge for meaningful, solution-driven discussion with other passionate Rotary leaders. That'll happen Saturday, September 20th at 10 a.m. And again, the MAP Lounge will be Saturday, September 20th at 10 a.m. And there you'll be able to explore how we can put these ideas into action in our own clubs and districts. Are your events falling flat? Next month's webinar is for you, Unlocking Rotary Magic, hosting events that would wow and welcome. It's happening Monday, October 13th at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. Fresh ideas, real examples, and the spark your club's been waiting for. So please mark your calendar for October 13th at 5:30. We're here to support your every step of the way. If you have questions, ideas, just scan this QR code on the screen. We'd love to hear from you. QR codes are magic. Go ahead, scan it. You're not alone on this journey. We're here for you to help you. Thank you for being with us for this month's MAP webinar. We look forward to seeing you again on the next one on October 13th. You all have a great evening, and thanks for being here.